The Sandy and Toddcast is a Mind Garden Media podcast in association with
Screw You, Todd
Productions.
Broadcasting from two very different yet magical places not found on any map. Get ready to discuss the strange, weird, ghostly, crazy, spooky, and odd things that take place around us each and every day. All while having a little bit of fun. This is the Sandy and Toddcast.
Episode 10 of the Toddcast. Hello, Todd.
It's not the Toddcast, it's the Sandy and Toddcast.
Yeah, the Sandy and Toddcast. You're just the big star.
How am I a big star?
I don't know.
Because my name is part of podcast. Is that why? There's a lot of Toddcasts out there for podcasts.
There were. And when we were coming up with the name for this podcast, I did do a little check. But then I thought, well, there is no Sandy and Toddcast. We are unique. So I thought that is a great name. And I love it.
Yes.
I do. I love it.
It's fine. I think it means basically you get what you get, which is us, which could be any topic in the world, which could be, you being weird. It could be me being weird. It just doesn't matter. So
speaking of that, I had a dream the other night about promoting an episode of the Sandy and Toddcast. And it was really funny because where you put in the summary what the episode's about, it just said lots of weird stuff. And so I dream about our podcast. Let's talk about how we met, because I think this story is hilarious. I love this story.
So I am part of a paranormal group that does a show on Amazon Prime, and out of the blue, this nutcase reaches out to me.
I stalked you. Let's just say it. Let's just put it.
God, I love you. Are you married? And, stuff like that.
I didn't quite say that. I didn't quite say it like that. I'll admit to the stalking, but I don't think I said it quite like that.
At any rate, I was stupid in my youth on TV, and I actually responded to her, which is something I've learned to not do anymore. But yeah, that's how we met. And then we kind of struck up a friendship that has had some rocky turns, and then everything's good now. Yeah.
It was funny because I literally did kind of stalk you, but we have a lot in common, and
it's kind of weird how much we have in common.
I know.
It really is.
It really is.
To be honest.
And I had no idea about any of that. I had no idea where this would lead us. I just liked the show. I thought it was really well done. And you stood out to me.
The guy was hot. Yeah, I know. I get it.
Dear Lord. Anyways. So and then I realized we had two people in common. Now, what are the chances of that? You live in Wisconsin, Skip Clark, who is a really nice guy. We've gone to a lot of concerts over the years, like many, many concerts. And Skip has helped us get some meet and greets that we might not have been able to get because they were in Syracuse or outside the area and, the radio market. And some of these promoters won't give tickets to people outside of their market. So he's helped us out, and we've helped him with some stuff over the years. He's a really nice guy out of Syracuse, the Wolf. If anybody ever gets a chance to listen, Skip's a great guy. And also John, who's out in the Albany market. We're kind of where I am. It's sort of right smack dab in the middle. So we had those two in common. So I thought, well, he can't be that crazy. So I thought I'm going to message him and tell him I appreciate the show and that I like the show because I have a background in paranormal as well, which we'll be doing some really cool paranormal episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I reached out to you, and you were very mean to me.
I was not mean to you.
You were very cold. Here I'm trying to make a new friend. Because I'm trying to make a new friend.
I wasn't mean.
I'm laughing as I said this.
Okay, good. I was not mean. In fact, I was probably too nice, and that's why you stuck around like a goddamn cat that, got some milk out on the back porch.
But look at how it ended up, though. We're like BFFs.
And I still got the cat hanging out on the back porch. It won't go away.
But then, so you were very cold, but then we started talking to each other, and we realized how much we had in common. And then we got in a little argument, and I don't remember what that was about.
I could, at some point, I won't do it today, but we'll have the conversation about the argument.
All right. Trying to remember it the other day, and I couldn't remember what the argument was.
Because I'm an asshole, and and there's certain things I won't say or admit to, and you needed that, and that became the argument.
I don't even remember.
Oh,
all right. So we'll have to talk about that. We'll have to talk about that because I don't remember. So anyways, so it was like 3 days we didn't talk to each other. And obviously we both hated it because then you messaged me and you said something like, are we over this? Are we going to start talking again? And I was like, I guess so. And
you weren't like, I guess so. You're like, oh, thank the Lord. I've missed you so much.
I highly doubt that. I don't quite remember it that way.
She was weeping.
I was weeping. Oh, that's nice. No, I wasn't. So, but I missed you. So after that, things really kind of settled down a little bit. I think we were just trying to figure out who we were in this friendship and what was going on. And so then things just settled down. And then now we're like BFFs, which I appreciate.
Yep.
Believe that we are on episode 5 already. Hi, Toddcast.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sesame Street.
You didn't finish it.
Because I don't have the talent to finish it like you do.
Oh, well.
I can do the 5, and that's about it.
I don't have talent either, believe me. You don't want to hear me sing. That's not that kind of podcast.
I've got my own country story, okay?
Okay.
Somebody I do like, and I like her husband too, Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks are two of my favorites. Mm-hmm. And I think they're genuine. I think they're really, really genuine. I think they're really, really thankful. And not that long ago, Trisha had a new album come out, and she went on this little tour in her own hometown to promote it. And the little hometown is close to a radio station that I do some work for in Georgia. Mm-hmm. And so we got to go, except I don't live in Georgia. So I live in Wisconsin, and I couldn't go see Trisha Yearwood. So they got this for me. Now listen to this. I love this so much. Listen, here it goes.
Hi, Todd Michaels. Why aren't you here? That's what I want to know is Trisha Yearwood. I saved you a seat. I've got you a CD. I don't know where you are. I've got a glass of sweet tea sitting here for you. I mean, where are you?
I want to marry her right now.
I love that. Oh, my God.
She is so
I wish
sweet.
everybody could see my face during this. That's really a good idea.
Thank you.
Everybody.
And guess what? I just came up with that off the top of my head because I had nothing planned.
Because I only said to you like 4 or 5 days ago, Todd, you pick what we're talking about next week.
I am so busy with creating and manifesting and getting shit done. I don't have time to worry about Large Marge and the stories of her being a raft on the Utica River, taking men across to save their lives from the mob. I can't do that research.
Okay.
You know, last week on the podcast, we talked a little bit about the documentary that follows the story of The Exorcist, or what the movie and the book The Exorcist was based on.
Right.
And so I had not seen it. You'd mentioned it to me, and I knew we were going to talk about it this week. So I thought, well, I better watch this thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm watching it, and I knew you had gone out with the girls.
Yeah.
Face maskless and all that kind of stuff.
Be quiet. We
throwing
went
your COVID
out
germs
with
all over the place.
Masks.
At any rate, I'm watching this thing, and we're going to talk about it on the podcast today. But you say, so what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm watching, the show, whatever it's called.
Because I had to check in on you because I love you.
I know. And she goes, well, and you go, well, what do you think? Is it any good? And I said, kind of sucks. And I wish we could actually post like our actual conversations with one another on Messenger.
We can screenshot them. We should, because we have some of the weirdest. I don't think we should. We have some of the weirdest conversations ever.
And sometimes, and I don't want to get off track already, but sometimes like it's all these voice messages. Like I'll be, doing my radio work and I look at the phone and you would message me and I'll look and there'll be like 10 voice messages. And I'm like, oh God. So then I got to listen to them and it's like 15 minutes of voice messages for me to listen to. But at any rate.
Because it's easier than typing sometimes.
I agree.
If I get excited and I have to, and you've done it to me too. It's so much easier that way sometimes.
I'm not complaining about it. Yeah. I'm just saying. So at any rate, I just teasingly, I said, it sucks, and you're like, and so this is the response I get. I get an actual voice response from Sandy. Now, remember, she's out with the girls and she's had a couple of drinkies.
Waiting for food. We didn't have our food for quite a while.
And so this is what I get. This is how I'm treated. People think that I'm mean to you on the podcast. This is what I get all the time. So check this out.
Listen, it's a good show. You don't know what a good show is. So screw you, Todd.
So I have the audio saved, and it's actually in my system named Screw You, Todd.
He's been playing it for me all week long, and I get tears in my eyes from laughing so hard because that's our relationship. That sums us up, basically.
You don't know what a good show is.
Listen, it's a good show. You don't know what a good show is. So screw you, Todd.
I don't know what a good show is. Apparently, I have no clue.
And it's our relationship is he's cranky and I'm like, screw you, Todd. Episode 6. I can't believe it's been 6 weeks, Toddcast. 6 episodes.
Are we still doing the Sesame Street thing where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12?
I'm glad you can count, but if you're not going to do it with me, then I don't think we should anymore.
I'm not going to do it with you. I feel like it's either going to be something that I do by myself or we just don't do it.
Would you do it by yourself?
No, I wouldn't do that either.
Yourself. My eyes just lit up. I was like, he's going to do it by himself.
No, I'm not.
All right.
We're going to play match game.
Oh, my God. All right.
Yep,
I knew it. I said to Dave, just have a piece of paper and a pen ready because Todd's going to play some dumb game. All right.
Hey, match game is not a dumb game.
Did I hear a theme song going on there?
You do, yes. All right, so match game, you're going to match me, okay? I'm going to give you the word or phrase here, and then you're going to match me, and whoever gets it wins.
Wins
and I have
Todd.
a feeling, you win my friendship forever.
Yeah.
Then. All right, so give me your best response and write it down. Your best response to ghost blank. Ghost blank. And when you've written your answer down, raise your hand. All right, so they're both in already. Good. All right, so let's go around and see what we got here. Dave, we're going to start with you. What is your response to ghost blank?
Dun, 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 dun. Hunters.
Ghost hunters. Is that right? No, it's not. That is not correct. Believe it or not, it's not. Now, Sandy, it's your turn to show what a great friend you are by matching me correctly. Ghost blank.
I said hunters.
How disappointing. I did this on purpose, but I went with
Seekers.
Ghost pepper.
Ghost pepper.
Ghost pepper.
Boy.
I should have known. What is wrong with my head? I should have known.
That might be my 12th or 15th response.
My first response was going to be ghost hunters.
Yeah,
obviously.
we're not pepper people.
See, I don't eat peppers.
There you go.
Is that it? There was no more?
That was it. I just thought
that's the whole match game.
Yeah, that's the match game.
Thanks for
both
playing.
lost.
But your first choice was hunters, though, right?
Yeah, you both won.
Did your mom see people?
Yeah, she did. And she would even have conversations in the middle of the night. and be talking to them. And the hospice person, our family member, was in the room with her during this. There was some other I'll be honest, there was some freaky stuff that took place as well that I can't explain. And we could go into it at another time regarding a shadow over her bed and what my mom said to the shadow after seeing it. So, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff, and you kind of, because the hospice person was a hospice person, but also a family member, we kind of got an inside look at her last couple of days.
Right.
And it was freaky. And I also think that we all had some interesting experiences right after her death. And the voices that we heard on that phone call, here's my theory. I don't have anything to back this up. I can't say to Dave, listen, I know this, and this. All I can go off of is what I went through in my own life and match it up as best I can so that I can put some sort of perspective into what I hear and some of the experiences I had. I don't know that what we experienced was necessarily her, but I do think that it was energy that was left behind or released when she passed. And I do know this about life in the household that I grew up in. I had a great childhood, but my mom had a lot of anguish in life. And she and my father were not, I wouldn't say that they were the most loving couple ever. And I think that when she passed, that negative energy that maybe she had held on to for many years in her life finally released. And I think that, along with our own anxieties and our own energy building up because of this, created all this stuff in some way, shape, or form. How that happens or how I could somehow back that up, I have no idea. But it's the theory that I've kind of hung how I investigate on now, was that one experience in my life.
Because it's Valentine's Day, I thought we'd do a little theme for weird news this week. And I love to peruse the internet and find weird gifts to give to people. Now, Dave's the only one I would give anything to, but after this many years together, we don't really do Valentine's Day gifts anymore. On a non-pandemic year, we might go out to dinner not on Valentine's Day, though.
Right, okay.
But we might go out to dinner or something. But this year we didn't really do much for each other. So I found 5 strange as hell Valentine's Day gifts that you can give to your personal weirdo, Todd.
All right.
You ready?
But which by the way, you are a personal weirdo in my life, so these could go to you, so be careful.
Well, wait till you hear them. I don't know. Number 1, a beautiful beard bouquet that will never wilt. The set comes with 9 rose clips that hang onto your facial hair. I could get you those. Would you wear those?
I would wear some in my beard and then some on other parts of my body.
And then send me a picture, because that would make my whole year if you would do that.
I'd send you a video and I'd do this. Like that.
Did you ever see for Christmas, the ones that you can hang in your beard that are like the Christmas tree ornaments?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yep. I love those. You can get these from a site called Firebox for only $14.99. I love that idea. And now that I'm saying this, I kind of wish I didn't tell you, because I would get you those.
Could have did it for me.
I know. I would have gotten you those.
Call now. $14.99. If you call right now, your second set is free. That's right. 2 sets for $14.99.
That's right. I don't even know who I'd give the other set to. I'd make you wear both. You've got a big enough beard. I'd make you wear both.
Yep. Or I could, I've got a hairy body, so maybe that could go someplace else.
Why do I not want to know that information? All right, number 2, you'll appreciate this one, a box of chocolates shaped like buttholes. You can get stop. Why would I appreciate that? I just think
I want to dive into that comment, because that doesn't make any sense. Why would I appreciate chocolates shaped like buttholes?
Those made me think of you immediately too. They did. Wow. I did.
So I got my beard and my chocolate butthole, and then what else?
Well, because I'm always calling you an ass. So this would be perfect for you.
Sweet ass.
So
too.
you can get
Chocolate
your sweet ass. You can get a box of 6 from Amazon for $9.98. I'm sure they'll still have plenty left right now. If you want to get any last-minute Valentine's Day gifts, you're welcome. And let's move on to number 3. Number 3.
Please, yes.
You can get a pair of bread slippers, a.k.a. loafers, pun intended, for, for the pun and carb-loving babe in your life. They literally look like loaves of bread.
I like that.
I like that. You can get
I
those
like slippers.
from Amazon.
I like bread. Bam, good.
See, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can get them from Amazon for a mere $17. Now this one, I think you'll like. A Blessed Pope-themed lingerie set. So hot, it should maybe be censored. This set is giving my heart palpitations. Did you like that, palpitations?
So I would like this. And again, what's that comment about? It's a papal, what, underwear?
It's
what
lingerie.
Is it?
It's lingerie. It looks like you get a little hat, and it looks like, kind of, you're supposed to be like a naughty
So is there a bra
pope.
that comes with it?
Yeah, it's like the whole kind of thing.
Little panties?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the whole little thing. You're supposed to be the pope. It's like a naughty pope.
So I want you to picture this. You know what I look like. I want you to picture the garden in my beard. I want you to picture my chocolate butthole, the loafers on my feet, and the bra and panties along with the papal hat. Right now, I want you to picture that. And then I want to ask you once again, why would I like these gifts?
Because they're hot. And listen, the Pope-themed lingerie set is only $59.95.
Ooh.
So a mere $59.95.
Do I get 2 if I call right now, do I get 2 sets?
They may throw in some chocolate buttholes.
There you go.
But the best one of all, this was my absolute favorite. A do-it-yourself casket kit for the Hank Hill level romantic gesture that lets them know that you're thinking about the future. A DIY casket on Amazon. Guess how much that costs?
I'm gonna guess $75.99.
It's $599.
Oh my God, that's not a deal.
Well, apparently it is. Do you know how much caskets cost? If you can make one yourself.
But we've talked about this. We could get regurgitated as soil. We could do that instead. We could have somebody burn us in the bonfire, for crap's sakes.
The Wicker Man. But a do-it-yourself casket kit. Who would have thunk that would be something that you could actually buy? You can get anything on Amazon, obviously.
Darling, I want to show you I love you, so I built you a casket. Now, if you talk back to me, you'll be seeing the inside sooner than you expected.
That's for, I don't know, that either says true love will be together forever or you're going first.
Yeah.
So that 5 really weird Valentine's Day gifts that you can get for the love of your life. I'm not really big into like gifts in general, whether it's Christmas or birthday or Valentine's Day or anything like that. Mm-hmm.
But if I were giving a gift, even if it was like a funny one, I don't think chocolate buttholes would be one. I don't think I would go that route. There were actually 29 of them on the website that I found on the story. I'm glad you chose the ones that you thought I would be interested in. I really do. I did too. Those really called your name. They really called your name. I think I'm still getting the roses. Wait till Christmas, you're getting the lights. The little Christmas balls. Christmas ornaments. You're getting those. Yeah. I'll wear them. Would you wear them? Would you send me a picture like that? If I have a beard like this, I would, sure. I hope you do. I love that beard. Yeah, me too. I know. I really like it. Screw you, Todd. You getting off a plane in Chicago, waiting to come up and see me? Let's tell everybody about our conversation last night, our semi-conversation. I wanted to get this. My one thing is designer handbags. God. I love designer handbags. I don't ask for much. I do a lot for charity and everything. Let's get Dave on and ask, and I'm going to ask him if you ask for much. And I found this really cute Kate Spade handbag for a very reasonable price.
authentic. I've got it right off the site.
Say what the reasonable price was.
$89. That's my ladies who know how much designer bags cost. Michael Kors, Coach, Kate Spade, all of them will know what a great deal that was. Beautiful handbag. So I sent him a picture of it, and he's like, oh my God, $89. Lord, I can't believe that. So I said, it regularly is like $329, and I can't go to the outlets right now, really. So I said, I got it. So then I said to you what? I said, are there any outlets in Oshkosh? And you said yes, and Milwaukee and Chicago. And I said, oh, I'm really excited about that, but I won't make you do that with me. We'll just go to the cheese factory and other things, and you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm not going to make you go outlet shopping with me. Dave will have to do it. $89
handbag. Now, have I spent $89 on a pair of shoes at some point? Yes. How many pairs of shoes do I own right now? It's less than 10 and probably just a few more than 5. So I'm going to guess probably 7 pairs of shoes, and not all of them were $89 pairs of shoes.
Well,
I can't fathom $89 for a handbag. Or a shirt or a pair of pants or
that
anything.
Was an incredible deal. It was an incredible deal.
No, it's not. It's like saying it's like I bought something, I saved $200, but it cost me $1,000.
I'm so glad we don't date.
Listen, you're glad. We wouldn't be here right now.
We'd both be underground.
Well, we would be because we'd kill each other. Is that what you're saying?
Probably.
Yeah. Because there's no way.
No, I don't think we'd last that long.
When I say poor Dave, I mean poor Dave. It's not even a joke.
We have some weird news that I had to share with everybody that I saw this week, and I wanted you all to know about it because I really want to know what you guys think. So in Washington State, there is a new company that is the first full-service human composting funeral home in the United States. Fully operational now. Fully operational.
Okay, yes. You know what? I know we mentioned it before we started recording. You asked if I knew what you were talking about, and I said, no, I didn't. But yes, I do. I know exactly what you're talking about. I do remember seeing it.
I am so intrigued by this because they have 10 right now. They have 10 of them. And apparently what you can do if you're a family member is, Dave's just looking at me like this is crazy. Apparently,
of course it is.
Apparently, though, what you can do if you're a family member, in non-COVID times, you can actually be there when they put the body into this like barrel type thing.
The recycle bin?
The recycle bin. And then it takes about 3 weeks, I guess. They put it in with wood chips and different kinds of composting materials to help the body break down faster. And the whole thing, they monitor it 24/7. The whole thing takes about 3 weeks to do. And then you can, either the family can take the remains back as soil, or because it mixes in with the soil, or they have this area, I can't remember where it is, but they have this area that they're trying to sort of reinvent and ecologically reinvent. And so you can have your remains put there. So you can become part of this project.
So we know about ashes being spread. So now we're talking about people being spread into soil and replanting and...
Yeah, and this idea has actually been around for quite a while. They have been talking about this because there's a place called the Body Farm. Have you guys ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a place, it's called the Body Farm. I want to say it's in Texas. But anyways, that's where they do a lot of research. They take human bodies and they let them decompose on the land. This way they can find out how someone died. They can find out how long they've been dead just by using these bodies, these human cadavers, as the experiment. And so the human body actually is an amazing fertilizer.
Yeah.
So I I'm kind of intrigued by this. And one of the ladies who, her mom had passed away, and her mom was very big on, saving the earth, the ecology, and things like that. And so she had her mom do it, and she was very happy that she did it because there's no embalming, there's nothing. I mean, it's a completely natural process. And you can even, they have, I think I read in the article, they have like closed circuit TVs. So you can watch your loved ones.
See, now I think that goes too far, doesn't it?
I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is very weird. I will gladly admit that.
I'm still a little puzzled by it. So you get your compost and you put it back there like by the tomatoes? What do you do?
The body breaks down. So then it just becomes part of the soil. So then you take the soil and you put it in the land that they're trying to save, and you plant trees. So it's the equivalent of vegetable compost.
Well, and there is that thing where you can like become part of a tree's root system. You know, they put your body in that to kind of feed the tree, and then you instead of having a headstone, you have a tree in your in your name or in your honor. Or whatever.
I have always been really. Dave will tell you this. I have always had a really hard time trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do when I'm dead. Because I was born Catholic. He's Jewish. I don't really consider myself Catholic anymore. I'm more of a spiritual person. Although I've yes, I'm a shaman. I've become a shaman. So we've always thought, okay, non-denominational cemetery, that's fine. But then I get to the point where I think, do I want to be in the ground? Do I want to be cremated? I'm not really sure. Either one sounds great to me. So now I'm a little intrigued by this idea and helping the earth. Does that sound really weird to you guys?
No, because we know that nobody's going to care once we're gone. We've actually only half joked about that who's going to come and see us in the cemetery? Is it really going to matter?
It's true.
I think about the fact, like, okay, so my mom passed away a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. I can count on one hand how many times I've gone to visit the grave because I just don't connect with her that way, It's very... And so...
you're right. You're right. Because when my grandparents have been gone for... my grandmother's been gone 30 years. My grandfather's been gone 20 years. And the first 10 or 15 years that they were gone, I didn't go to the cemetery once. It was a very difficult thing for me to do because I'm of the idea that you hold on to your memories. You don't go and look at the headstone all the time. It took me about 15 years to get to the point where now maybe once a year I'll go. I go and I... kind of talk to them and stay for a few minutes. I'm still not big on that. You're right. So would you guys do this?
I'm down for it. I really am. I'm like, my thought process has always been I don't want to be buried because for me, I don't believe that my body means anything once I'm gone anyway. Mm-hmm. Barely means anything now.
I agree, though. I agree. I get you.
But, so I've been thinking about being cremated, and that's fine. But, I mean, I don't want to be in an urn on somebody's mantle. I want to be spread someplace. So to me, instead of going through that process, this just seems like it'd be more natural. Now, I do not want a camera on me, and I don't want somebody watching me decompose. That's not how it works.
I don't think they watch you decompose. I think it's probably some people just want that peace of mind and that solace to know that's where their loved one is. It's sort of, I guess, a grieving process and dealing with it. They don't, I don't think they can watch you decompose. That's pretty gross. But that, speaking of decompose, the business name is called Recompose. So instead of decomposing, you're recomposing. I don't know. I like it. I think the idea is kind of cool. It may seem weird to some people. I don't know. I kind of like it. I think it's cool.
There's also willing your organs too, which obviously is weird to a lot of people. Even for me. Not a heavily religious background, but in the Jewish religion, they don't have open caskets. Right. So when I would see open caskets, it was kind of like, well, that's kind of odd. There's the body. So it's a little bit different no matter how you look at these things.
Yeah, but I've always said take my organs if anybody wants them. But now I'm diabetic, so I don't even know if anybody would want my organs anymore. Even though I'm healthy, they probably wouldn't want them.
You ready? Check this out.
7.
I love it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7.
All right, so here's the situation.
All right.
Like, I realized it was Sesame Street, but whoever created that, first of all, genius. Also, completely on some sort of drugs. Some like hallucinogenics for sure. Yeah. I wanted to share like a personal experience where it was kind of a holy shit moment for me, because I'd done some investigating and had done some investigating with a group and have had some things happen and, you know, whatever. But by myself, not so much. I lived in an older home, an old Tudor home that was built in about 1920, 21, something like that.
Okay.
And there were 2 floors to it, and it was a really nice house. And for a while, I had a tenant, a very good friend of mine, Lisa, who lived upstairs. But she had moved out, and so the house was empty the day that I invited my friend Sherry over. Now, Sherry is what I call her a woo-woo, and what that means is like she gets feelings on everything. It affects her on a daily basis. She came over and I'd gotten a brand new piece of equipment that everybody probably is aware of called the K2 meter.
Yes.
K2 meters measure EMF, electromagnetic fields, and that could be basically unseen electricity that is in the old wiring in your home, a fuse box, a breaker box. So that's part of what it reads, but it also reads fluctuations in EMF that don't make any sense.
Right.
So to test the unit out, I did check out my home. It's an older home. I did find some EMF in the room that we were working in, but it was near the floor on the other side of the room. So where we were investigating, there was no stray EMF.
Okay.
And the other thing too is that typically if EMF is, I want to call it man-made, but if it's from an electrical source or something like that, it's a constant buzz of the lights.
Right.
They light up and they stay lit up. There's really no fluctuation of them.
Right.
If there's nothing going on and on all of a sudden you kind of get a little blip kind of thing, that's something else. That's what we're talking about when we talk about using the K2 meter. Always make sure that you don't have your smartphone in your pocket because that can affect it. And I love catching people with their like, oh my God, look at that. And it's like, you have your phone in your pocket. Yeah, take it out.
Take it out.
It's the first thing I say to them. But we'd gotten this and I invited her over and I'm like, well, let's test this thing out. I've never used one before. I've seen them used, whatever. And so we started doing a little investigation. Now, at this point, I had lived in my house, I don't know, at least 5 or 6 years. Never had anything go on. Never had any experiences at all.
Okay.
Now, my tenant, Lisa, used to tell me all the time, oh, there's always stuff going on. I hear people downstairs all the time. I've had people come up and talk into my ear when I'm falling asleep. All that kind of stuff, okay?
Right.
So Sherry and I start doing, is anybody here? You know, if you want to come talk, we're here, blah, blah, blah. And, we're doing it for like 15, 20 minutes. We're not getting anything. And I was ready to kind of close up shop and just move on. And I said, and she goes, well, I want to keep going. And I said, well, I'm going to go do some dishes because I had a sink full of dishes in the next room. So I started doing some dishes. Sherry continued the investigation without me. And she's kind of going through a series of questions. I'm listening and I'm thinking, this is kind of weird because her series of questions, you know, when you're trying to start to get activity, your questions might be kind of all over to try and find something that makes them respond back to you. She was following a natural pattern of questions. And eventually she said, Todd, you may want to come in here. So I did. And she was on one side of the room. I was kind of in the middle. And then the K2 meter was on the other end of the room, sitting on a couch. And she was asking questions and she was getting responses.
Wow.
Now, again, I wasn't in the room to start the conversation. I was in the room. Nothing happened. I walked out. All of a sudden, this energy must have been drawn to her.
Right.
So according to the conversation, we'll call it that, between her and the K2, she had talked to two individuals that day, had two energies. A younger female energy, probably a child, and an older gentleman. Now, the interesting about the gentleman was she nailed the profession and she nailed the name.
Wow.
And she did the thing. Does your name start with A? Does it start with B? Does it start with C? And as soon as she hit G, boom. Okay, well, you think of a guy's name that starts with G. Hey, is your name George? Bam.
Wow. Interesting.
Now, she didn't know this, but I had done research on the home when I bought it because I'm into that kind of stuff.
I was going to ask you that.
Doctor by the name of George owned the house.
Wow. Interesting.
Knew that he was a doctor. So at any rate, eventually things calmed down and the conversation stopped and we shut the thing off and we started talking about work because she was someone that I worked with at the job that I had. And all of a sudden, very distinctly, there were hardwood floors throughout this entire house, downstairs and upstairs. From above us, there was one long hallway that went from one end of the house to the other with doors on either side. We distinctly heard footsteps walk down the hall to the front of the house and shut a door.
Wow.
Now, here's what I did. I cried. I literally teared up because nothing like that had ever happened in that house to me.
Yeah.
Nothing. Mm-hmm. And it was, we had a clay tile roof. So it wasn't a bird on the roof. It wasn't rats in the attic or anything. It was not that. These were shoes on it was hard soled shoes on the wooden floor. Tick, 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 tick. Bam. And two things. Number one, I realized that something was in my home.
Right.
And number two, that opened the door for other activity. So once that happened, even if I wasn't with someone else, then the activity was happening.
That's amazing.
I love telling the story because it gets strange in that I would get up very early in the morning. You and I both worked in radio. I was doing mornings. Mm-hmm. The station I worked for was about 40 minutes away. So I'd have to get up really early in the morning to get ready, hit the road, all that kind of stuff. And the house was made of stone. So literally there was a car crash out front one day and I never heard it happen because the house was so thick with stone.
Yeah.
There was no penetrable noise or anything like that. So at any rate, I am in my bathroom getting ready. And from what was the living room area of the house, living room, dining room area, I heard a little girl giggle. Well, I finished brushing my teeth, put on my jacket and got the okay.
I am the ultimate tourist. When we go places, I research.
God. She has a picture of pictures of other pictures. She has pictures that she's taken with other pictures. I mean, it's just.
I have to go to all these famous places because I don't know if I'll get back there. So I do it. You know, it's just a way to kind of say, look, I checked it out. I was there. So that's just how I am. I'm one of those research people. When we went to Maui for a honeymoon, and I was like, when am I ever getting back to Maui again? And I tried to, and you want to hear something horrible that happened to me in Maui?
Oh, God.
The first day I twisted my ankle because we were at the Four Seasons Wailea, which is like a $600 a night hotel. Britney Spears goes there. All the famous people go there.
How do you get that? How do you spend money on that? Where does that money come from?
We saved like you wouldn't believe. We spent so much money on this vacation. We flew first class, which, by the way, on the way home from Maui, we rode home on the airplane to Chicago with Kool and the Gang.
Did you get a picture of that?
Yeah. Well, they signed a picture for Dave. They were all very cool guys.
But they're like, oh, my God, there's two honkies here.
I know. It was so funny, though, because Dave goes, I think that's Kool in the Gang. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I didn't know.
How do you figure out it is? Do you start singing their songs and see if they look?
He went up to the guy that looked like the manager.
Oh,
he goes, is this like he said something like, is this like a band or something? And the guy goes, yeah, this is cool in the gang. And so we rode home with them. They all had their It was a very cool experience. But so we stayed at the Four Seasons Wailea, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was so funny because I played this game where if you left your hotel room for 5 minutes, you come back and everything was perfect again.
Ew.
I was convinced that they had little trap doors somewhere where they would just come in real quick and then go out and you couldn't see them. It was really crazy. So anyways, beautiful pool area leading down to the ocean. They've got people coming and spritzing your face, and it's just wonderful. And here I take a header right down the stairs. So, and back then I literally weighed 300 pounds back then. So my ankle was so swollen. So for the whole time that we were there, I couldn't do half the things that I could do them now because I have a lot less weight on me than I did back then, but I couldn't probably do them anyways. But it was a beautiful time. We did the road to Hana. We went to Hohopeka Beach, which is a windsurfer beach. It's absolutely beautiful. But that was beautiful. And so I did everything that I could possibly do. I took as many pictures as I could because I was like, when am I ever going to get back to Maui again? You know, that's
right.
just how I am. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we did Twisted Towns, Utica, New York, my hometown. And
yeah.
I was surprised to find out that I am related to a mobster who, by the way, I think is still alive. He's 95 now, Turk Zogby. Yes. And my mother chimed in with a few. She had texted me with a few stories of her own, so we thought we'd get her on here today. So Mom's on today to talk a little bit about being a part of mafia life.
It was wonderful. I loved it.
I have so many questions to ask about mafia life. I can't wait to get into it.
Well, here we go. So, Mom, you grew up. You graduated from high school in Utica in the 60s.
Yes, I did.
So I was born in 71. And so you were essentially in the middle of the mafia heyday in Utica.
Absolutely, but we didn't call it the mafia. We knew who they were, and they knew where they were, but we didn't call them anything.
So
were they called family members with quotation marks around them?
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what you remember from those days. Was there a lot of gangster activity going on?
Yes, but surprisingly enough, it was kept kind of hush-hush. Unless you were actually in the family, you didn't know about it. And but in the same respect, a lot of the members were in the police department. So
we talked about that because you had texted with me and you told me, and I said, "Can I say names?" And you said yes.
Absolutely.
So.
Are you like, has anybody come knocking at your door and like, Mom, we've got to talk to you about some information you passed along in a podcast?
No, I'm incognito right now.
So give us some stories. What were some of the things that went on? How did you know Turk, and how well did you know Turk?
Well, it started when I was a young teen, and we would all wait on the busy corner in Utica for our bus home from school, and I would be talking to guys, of course. And my cousin Paul, who was a Utica police officer, used to pull up with the lights on, drag me off the busy corner, and put me on a bus because I wasn't able to talk to anybody. He was very protective. So I started standing on a different corner. And he showed up. I mean, there were eyes everywhere. Did you ever feel like weirded out by it at all, or was it just so natural to you because you grew up in it that it didn't bother you? It was just natural to me. A lot of them were family members, and the ones that I wasn't actually related to were family members. So it's something I just grew up with.
What kind of things were going on in Utica at the time? Was it a lot? Did you know about murders and stuff? People getting beat up?
Yes. Well, there was a lot of people that opened their mouth big once and then didn't do it a second time because they knew better. I don't really know about any murders, but there was a lot of shady stuff going on in a lot of places. And like I say, we all knew, well, the ones in my circle knew who it was and where it was going on, but we just didn't talk about it.
So when I think of the mob, like the movie that comes to mind is Marilyn Monroe, Some Like It Hot. And you know which movie I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely. I love it with spats.
So the mob is trying to find the two of them because they saw the Valentine's Day murder, I'm guessing is what it was. And, they're running around trying to stay away from the mob. So they go to Florida, join an all-women's band, and have to be... what were their names? What were the names that they came up with?
Geraldine and
Daphne
and Geraldine, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So blah 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 blah. But one of my favorite scenes is where the mob, comes to the resort that they're at to have a meeting, and I put quotation marks around that, a family meeting. And of course, they're under the table hiding, and somebody pulls out a machine gun, and a bunch of them are dead. I mean, was there that? I know that's kind of a silly look at it, but was there that kind of feeling going on at the time?
Well, there was that kind of feeling, but yet it never came to fruition. Most times, the ones that we had around, the family members and things, just a word or a look in a certain way kind of took care of a problem.
So by family,
did that ever work? Did that ever work with your daughter at all?
Yeah, no, but I'll tell you what happened. I wanted to, when I was 15 or 16, I wanted to date this guy named Johnny Morocco, and he was.
Oh my God!
Yes, and he was a would-be trying to come up gangster. And my cousin Paul found out and talked to him, and I never heard from him again. But he was around. He was around. I'd see him, but he'd cross the street.
We're just two BFFs talking about really weird things, and I
hate
love
it when
it.
she says BFFs.
I know, that's why I say it, because should I say soulmates? We're soulmates.
No, don't say that. There's a reason why you live there and I live here.
How many more miles left in this race? How long it takes, I don't know. In the end, it ain't about the pace. It always ends at the crossroads.